Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1281 of our daily content grind, and I'm gonna finish up everything that was my TFCon trip by talking about all the things that had nothing to do with TFCon. See, when I'm out in California, I really do like to maximize my time there. That's not an intentional pun. Because it's very rare when I get to go, and there's a lot of stuff out there I would love to do. So because I didn't get to hit all of my usual spots the last time I was in California, I decided, as long as I'm there and I have vacation levels of money, let's just do the big three. Let's just go do the two big things that I would love to do, and then I'm also going to have an adventure because everyone who's going with me wants to have an adventure. So, yeah, this was a lot. We did a lot. So, I know this is just, vacation stories at this point, but I want to tell them, because these are really cool experiences I had with some good friends. So, I'm telling stories. Speaking of, thank you very much to An Army of Bees, the podcast editor, as well as for WTF at TFW, as well as one of my my cohorts, let's say. Cohort. No one uses the word cohort anymore. It's a good word. My cohort in Fortnite, as well as my my I was gonna say wingman. No. I have a girlfriend. I'm very happy with a girlfriend. No. He's just a good companion for the trip, and we basically went just about everywhere together. So he provided some of the photos for this because for some reason my brain completely shut off and forgot that I was a content creator for a few days, which is kind of what I was doing. That was the intention. So a bunch of these photos are from him, and thank you very much for it. The first place I wanted to go, and I dragged bees along with me. This is Frankenson. Now, I've talked about this place before. We're not going to cover it too long because, like I said, I didn't get too many photos of this place, neither did he. But Frankenson, for those unaware, it is the largest toy store in the country, at least as far as I know. It is technically over 300 stores packed into the same building because it is run like an antique mall or a flea market. Inside, there are many individual booths with individual sellers, all with different stock and wares, but 90% of it, toys. Now, there is an area when you enter and go to your far left, there is a space for a bunch of TCG sellers. In the far back, the whole row in the back is TCG sellers. And then mixed amongst the group, you'll find the occasional sports card booth. There's a booth for wrestling memorabilia. There's a NASCAR hanging in the rafters. But everything else is just toys or toy adjacent related things. There's one corner that is just gigantic foam statues of pop culture characters. There's like an original Mayor McCheese head floating around. There's a Toys R Us sign just kind of there. Oh, I'm sitting here in this little mom and pop toy shop I manage and going like, why don't I have that? Because it costs, probably costs like $50,000. That's why. Point being, incredible place to feel completely overwhelmed. So this is just one row. This is row 200. There are 8 more rows, just as big, just as deep. Can you see the far back? No, you barely can. That little white light in the back, that's the counter for one of the TCG booths. And everything in between is just a completely different mini toy store. And a lot of these are themed. There's a Lego spot. There is several that are just action figures. Of course, there's spots that are just Funko Pops. There's one booth that is just tokusatsu stuff. Sitting in one of his display cases is the black and gold Ultimate Daiboken from Bokenger. You will know that as my favorite of any Super Sentai, and that is my favorite set of mecha toys. We reviewed it on the channel years ago. The black and gold one is super pretty. $550. I don't know if it's that pretty. At least not to have a toy I technically already have, but it's incredible to see in person. It's almost part of me going like, my birthday's coming up. Is anyone... No, I don't need it. It's super pretty, but I don't need it. I actually thought I hit on one of my actual grails while I was here, because one of the booths, the Dark Helmet booth, yes, it's a Spaceball reference. The Dark Helmet booth that is immediately to your left when you first walk in, their Ninja Turtle section had 2 full-size Krangs, the large ones from the original Ninja Turtle line. I had one as a kid, lost it, never got it back, and they had it way cheaper than the last time I saw it. And I thought it was just for like a little bit of dirt and scuff. No, it's because the little antenna on the head broke off. Unfortunately, that's a deal breaker for me too. But you know what? Fine. It was a really cool experience to go back there. It's overwhelming. It takes 2 hours just to do one lap of the place. I am very proud of myself. The last time I went here, I dropped 4 digits. This time I kept it under $200. I think that's a round of applause. It's an accomplishment for me. It's still incredibly fun. Bees had a lot of fun. We both were agog at the one item there that was like completely weird. There's a gold PS4 controller that was apparently part of an employee giveaway, like something that they were doing in celebration of a game's release, just for like the top execs or something. The whole promotion thing was canceled. Less than 10 exist, and one of them is just there. And we both just kind of stare at it like, like we're looking into the face of God or something. Like, oh my God. Great place. Great place. Because I was doing the vacation stuff, I apologize. I'm going to interject with food from time to time. Did you know they make mochi donuts? Yeah, little rice cake donuts. They're really nice. They are extremely chewy. It's a very chewy dough that you get from frying mochi. They're good, though. Different texture, but good flavor. Also, this particular mochi shop, and I'll tell you where it was in a minute. Everything seems fresh. Like the I had a strawberry one where the frosting on top tasted like actual strawberry, not the candy strawberry I expected. So good place, located right outside Disneyland. My group wanted to do Disneyland, and that's kind of the whole thing in our Discord chat was Galaxy's Edge, because we all wanted to do Galaxy's Edge together. Last time I went to Galaxy's Edge, it was in Orlando, and I went alone, because I'd never been to Disney World alone, where I could just go about and do whatever I wanted without having anyone going, I don't want to go do that. I want to go do this, and I don't want to go do that, but I have to go do that. So, it's just make my commands feel better. But this was fine. It's much more fun in a friend group, by the way. Credit to Bees for getting a photo of the statue. This like, okay, it's like one of the most legendary, iconic images from Disneyland. I didn't get a photo of the statue. It was a Disneyland for a Floridian is an interesting experience in general. It's kind of like, you kind of feel like you're cheating on your wife with her older sister. But said older sister is only 2 parks instead of 4 connected, and considerably smaller. That's what I didn't realize. Disneyland is a much easier walk around than any of the parks in Disney World. Especially when some of the areas, like some of the common areas in the places that match between the 2 parks, are a little bit more open in the Orlando one, because they just have more space to work with. Disneyland, Disney World, if you've never been to Orlando, is just kind of in the middle of swampland. It's just kind of in the middle of nowhere doing its own thing, and it's got plenty of space around it still, because who's going to encroach on Disney? But in Disneyland, they kind of just built it into like a normal area of the city. Like it's just kind of there. It's a huge space, but it's like, it has to get along with everything around it. Like I said, across the street from where like Uber drops you off for Disneyland is just a mochi donut shop. It was, the group here was me and Bees, Aaron from the WTF and TFW podcast, and his fiance Alfie. And then we had Amber with us, who's new friend, didn't know her before, great person. But she is the Disney expert. She was the one guiding us around and making sure we got to the right rides at the right time. We hit so many rides just because she was staying on the ball of which ones had like walk-up time. Like, yeah, I think the longest we waited was like 20 minutes. And that was mostly just walking through the space it take, like when like the huge amount of space like that they say reserve for when the lines are super long. So by the time you actually get to where the line is, you've already burned up like 5 or 10 minutes of that wait time. So you're really not waiting long at all. I can't remember all the rides we did. We did Space Mountain. I don't do great on roller coasters, but I can handle that one even though it's in the dark. It's very fast. Uh, we did the Haunted Mansion, and I'd done this one before, but it had been a long time, so that was a weird thing for my brain to register. We did the Buzz Lightyear ride. This is the slow one where you get to like shoot the blasters at Zurg and all the targets around. I didn't know you were supposed to aim at targets for like the first 30 seconds of the ride. I was just kind of looking around, just waiting for it to get faster. No, it's not the point. It's not the point. Amber's next to me, racking up like 1,000,000 points, and I'm just sitting here like 300, 400. I wish I had taken this in widescreen, by the way, because right next to Buzz is his view screen, when he's telling you about Zurg attacking, and it's an Etch-a-Sketch. I thought, I should have gotten a photo. I should have gotten a better photo of that. Did Indiana Jones. I've never done Indiana Jones before. That one was way more like Whiplash than I thought. That one throws you back and forth. Like, I didn't even... I'd never been on that ride before, so I was not aware of that one. I'm trying to remember what there's... We did a lot of rides, back to back to back to back. Now, I'm trying to remember all of them. I didn't get photos, though. We did Pirates of the Caribbean, which is way more mild. I would have to look at just like a list of the rides from Disneyland just to remember all the ones we did. But we were like rapid succession, knocking them out. One more shot from, the Haunted Mansion. Still cool experience. But we wanted to do Galaxy's Edge. So we wanted to make sure we saved time to do that. And, because we knew, we're just going to want to hang out here for a while. And it's still so cool. I've been to the one in Orlando. I spent almost an entire day in Orlando. Actually, prior to the last TFCon in Orlando was in Galaxy's Edge. So I guess going to Disney prior to a TFCon is just kind of par for the course and kind of a tradition now, which frankly is going to make the one in Baltimore really weird. I'm not going to the one in Baltimore. I'm not. But it's weird going into Galaxy's Edge here because I've never been to Disneyland before, but I had been to the one in Disney World, and the two parks are built exactly the same. At least the Galaxy's Edge area is. So I walk in, and my brain goes, "Oh wow, we're back." Wait, no, we're not. I've never been here. Weird little head trip experience, but kind of fun and interesting at the same time. And things are laid out the same way. It's like when we're trying to figure out, okay, where are the lightsabers built? Because the whole intention of that is it's kind of underground and kind of like very low key. And my brain could go, yeah, it's right over there. It's right in that corner. Just down these little steps and to the left. So my brain remembered where everything was, which was kind of fun. So even though I'd never been to Disneyland, I could still be the tour guide for the area. And everything else is just kind of spot on to the one in Disney. Now, Disney World. I will say the stock is more interesting in Disneyland. They get a lot of stuff first. And they handle things differently. In Orlando, last time I was there, they still let you just walk up and pick up the Kyber crystals you wanted. They're behind the counter now in Disneyland. I don't know if that's true for anything else. I don't know if that's true in Orlando anymore. I haven't been there since last year. See. Three of our people built droids. I built 2 before. I didn't feel a need. Though they have the new droid with the tread legs that was super tempting, but the colors were boring. So I opted out of that one. Unfortunately, those legs do work on a normal R2 body. I could get those. I've got my droid. I've got my droid at home. That's already got a bunch of custom work to him. Is technically doable. Um, Three of us, Aaron, Bees, and me, we all did lightsabers. Mine was the elemental nature. I think Jarrett, Bees did try. Was trying not to use his actual name. Um, yeah, Bees was doing a Sith style. Aaron's did the High Republic style, the silver and gold one, and his is like one piece short of being the one I made when I did Orlando, which I thought that kind of amused me. But still, like, still fantastic experience if you've never done it. It's incredibly immersive, really, really cool. Um, I might be building a Sith saber next time just to start round them out. Here's the other cool thing that Disneyland let you do that Disney World did not. They let you buy spare parts. Like if you wanted the other parts that your lightsaber could have been built with, you could just ask to buy them, and that was so tempting because the design I went with, there were two variations I was like flipping between. So it would have been really cool to have both, but ultimately, like, I felt maybe a little bit too much expense there. I was right, by the way. I was right not to do it. More experiences there. So we did the Smuggler's Run, where you actually operate the Millennium Falcon. I hadn't gotten to fly it before. I had to be gunner the last time, so the group let me fly. I got to fly the Millennium Falcon, left and right. Jared, I did it again. Bees, I don't think he cares. Bees, he kind of had like the most whimsy to him as he was experiencing Star Wars land. So I thought, let's let him have the up and down because that's also does the hyperdrive. So we get in the simulator. It's like a real time. It's like you're playing a video game with like 6 players. You know, because you've got the engineers, you got the gunners, you got the flyers, and it works. Like it's like the what you're playing works like a interactive immersive video game. When you shoot, you really do shoot. You really do fly and control the virtual version of the Millennium Falcon that you're steering through the game. And it's fantastic experience. It looks so cool. It's so fun. As soon as the Millennium Falcon takes off, we have just a couple obstacles in our way. And Bees pulls down on his lever, and immediately the Millennium Falcon creens upward right into a rock. First thing we could have possibly hit on the entire ride. That's Bees. He did not realize that we were doing inverted controls. And like, we're flying a spaceship. Of course we're doing inverted controls. We didn't do well. We didn't do well. I flew fine. I don't remember my left and right flying hitting anything. But it's still a lot of fun. I guess I have to do engineer next. You know, engineer's kind of like the more boring passive one. Unless I can get into the hyperdrive seat. We also did Rise of the Resistance. We actually got lucky. So the ride went down for repairs earlier in the day, and it was going to be closing early for a special event, meaning that there was only like an hour and a half window where it was actually usable, and we caught it then. And the line was not nearly as bad as when I went in Orlando. I had to wait almost an hour in Orlando to actually do this ride. Worth the wait. Like, it's one of the most immersive, clever, engineered experiences I have ever had. And seeing it for a second time, I'm still amazed by it. I won't go into detail and describe it because this video is already going to go long. But, like, the one thing about it was, in one scene during your escape out of the Star Destroyer, Kylo Ren's lightsaber pokes through the ceiling and starts trying to carve a hole to get so he can jump down to catch you. I've seen this effect twice. Jarrett was Bees. Jeez. Sorry. Bees was staring at this. This like the second time I've watched it, and neither one of us can figure out how it's done. It's such a good visual trick. It's such a good visual trick. So that was really cool. We also had a different version of the ride. So when the ride goes down, it's usually because the animatronics have messed up. In particular, the one where you're encountering Kylo at the end. You're supposed to encounter Kylo in this section of the hallway where he will force push and pull the escape cars that you're in. And it's a really cool effect. And then, the ship takes damage behind him. So he's like, so he can't hold you back anymore. He has to hold himself into place so it doesn't get sucked into space. There's a backup version where instead, when you enter that hallway, you're looking through a window and there's Kylo in his, in whatever TIE version he's flying. It's like an interceptor or something. Where he's basically going to shoot through to get to you, and then he gets shot out of the way. It's not nearly as immersive, but it's like the backup. If the animatronics stop working, it's the backup version of the ride. So in Orlando, I got the full experience. This time we had a backup one, which is a little bit disappointing, but is what it is. At least I can say I've done both versions. See, still so cool. Something I didn't do in Orlando that we did this time was Oga's Bar, because I'm not a drinker, and it is a place that serves like weird, like alien flavored alcohol. There's juice things too, so I grabbed one of those. That was actually good. It had little boba balls in it, and I think it would have been fine without those. I think I like the juice mixture better without. But the environment is fantastic. Like you can see the bar here where like a whole bunch of like destroyed IG assassin droids are all being used as alcohol containers, kegs, whatnot. Great environment. It's very Mos Eisley. They have DJ Rex that's spinning tracks, and the music's fantastic too. Like we are all kind of like, yeah, we kind of want to look up the playlist after this. Very, very cool experience. Only kind of snacky kind of food, about like these gigantic garlic knots and the spicy cheese. Ooh, very, very, very good. That's my recommendation if you go. We stayed pretty late. Aaron and the others had to tap out because they had already done Disney for 2 days, so they were kind of burnt. Me and B stuck around a little bit longer, just to kind of take in the sights at night. The area is gorgeous with the night lighting. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Look how pretty it all is. Lovely, lovely. So, obviously, Galaxy's Edge, a huge part. Disneyland, a huge part. It's cool that I get to say I've done Disney World and Disneyland now. And then there's the day of the con. The first day is Friday, but that gives us an entire afternoon. And when I'm in LA, the best afternoon killer for me is the Japanese Village Plaza in Little Tokyo. I love this place. This was introduced to me years ago by my friend Matt Burkett, one Apollo Z Hack or Monstrosities here on YouTube. Fantastic experience the first time. It really does kind of feel like you're just in this little slice of Japan because the architecture is different. Just a lot of Japanese decoration and writing around makes you just for a bit feel like you are not in America, which is kind of cool. And I love going here. You're always going to find fun stuff. You're always going to find some fun stuff to look at, just saying. But there's 2 shops in particular. Now, granted, there's a lot of shops in particular. I'm not going to make you stare at the Godzilla butt. There's a lot of shops there I really, really like. Actually, this was not on our itinerary 100% until Alfie in our group chat on Discord mentioned, oh, hey, like 20 minutes from the hotel, there's a Gashapon parlor. And I look up where it is, and ooh, I've been to this Gashapon parlor. And actually, I hadn't because they moved to a different location. They were larger, but they were still in the plaza. So we Gashapond. That was good. There's a lot of weird knickknacky things there, shops that are fun to walk into. There's a shop that is just like how Japanese, like how Japanese people view America things like Americana, which is fun. It's a weird shop experience to be in. Okay, like this is Americana to Japan, but it's being sold in America. It's interesting. There's an official Sanrio store. There's lots of places for things like Gundam models, figure arts, etc., etc. The two big shops I like to hit here is Book Off, which is very much it is a chain of stores in Japan that has expanded a few places to America. And if you go around Little Tokyo, like the actual town area, there's a few. You can actually make a run of like 3 or 4 Book Offs if you really want to make a day of it. And it's always fun to see what is in there. It's always weird stuff, a lot of Japanese toys, and yeah, if you browse long enough, you're gonna find something you want. Something I saw last time I was there was gone. It was a set of like high quality B fighter figures, like a 3-pack of them. That's our Beetleborgs for the American fans out there. Would have been cool to get this time around. Gone. But still, Book Off is a great spot to visit. And then there's my favorite spot in the plaza, and that is Jungle. Jungle is, again, it's a used Japanese toy store. And again, it's something that exists in Japan. They have an expansion here in Little Tokyo. And again, it's just... The main store is huge, full of used stuff and brand new Gundam models. And then they have another store that is for... They have another store that's just for, like... What is it? New anime product, not used. They have one store that is just for TCG stuff. I think there's another store in there that I think is theirs that does video games as well. I might be mistaken on that. Either way, yeah, it's a huge little... They get their own little facility that's not technically part of the plaza. It's just adjacent that you can walk into. And it's kind of underground, so it feels more like a Japanese subway mall. Love going there. Again, something I saw last time I was there that I really wanted and skipped last time was gone. That was the provider base from Time Ranger. You know, that big yellow robot that like sent the time, time robo from the future to the past. They had that there. I don't know what I'd do with it, but it's neat. They've always got something I want. I had to hold back. Was something they want, something they had. One of my little grails is Engine O from Go Onger. I want all 12 parts of it. I want as many engine souls for it as I can get. They had Engine O G6. I was staring at this like it's got a little bit of wearing on it, but the price isn't too bad. Can you take it out so I can see it? And he moves it over from the glass cabinets here, and then over to here on this counter, and from moving it here to here, an arm falls off. And I think to myself, well, I now have more budget for TFCon. Oh well. There's still cool things in there. I love seeing the Sea of Gameras. Love seeing that. Oh, and this is a great way of showing that you have these two for sale from the Monster Hearts line. That would be Godzilla delivering a Kaniku Buster to King Kong. Or if you know American Pro Wrestling, the Muscle Buster. This is amazing. I will admit, though, another reason to go to the Village Plaza, food. It's the only place I can find pork katsu curry, which I got last time, fell in love with. Went to a different restaurant this time. They also had katsu curry. Most of our table ordered the pork katsu curry, and huge hit for everybody. So I'm very glad that I went out of my way to say, like, I need to find katsu curry. And then, again, Aaron and the rest bowed out a little bit early because exhausted. But me and B stuck around for something I won't leave Little Tokyo without, which is my taiyaki. It's a waffle that's shaped like a fish and filled with your choice of, I want to say, custard Nutella, I want to say. But I like the traditional red bean paste. It's, for those who have never had it, it's sweet. It's not like your kidney beans. It's not like chili beans. No, it's sweet. And it's delicious. And this is not traditional taiyaki, because obviously, like, I'm having like chocolate ice cream that's covered in cocoa pebbles. But this is something I cannot find in Florida. So I love to actually get this when I can. Let me rephrase that. Earlier today, I may or may not have actually found a place on Google Maps that has both katsu curry and taiyaki. And I have to make some alterations to my order, but I could go have it tomorrow night for dinner. And because I know Bees is watching, I'm going to throw this one in because this was kind of his favorite story to tell. The hotel had a fantastic restaurant attached to it. And the first time we went there, this was the order. It's chicken parm, but you can see from the fork the actual size of this thing. This was essentially half of a chicken fried and put on top of a hay bale of angel hair pasta. And for some reason, he got such a kick out of the fact that this gigantic dish was served to me. It was great. I couldn't finish it, but it was great. So I just threw that in there just for Bees, because I know he's gonna want me to mention like the endless Parmesan. And that's pretty much it. I've basically told you everything that happened in California at this point. Between all these different videos. This is just a shot up from their hotel room. I never get tired of looking at mountains, because obviously Floridian. You know, there is no way of seeing into the distance here. You just end up staring at palm trees. And if you get away from the palm trees, you're staring at the ocean. It's pretty, but it's not nearly as pretty as mountains in the distance. So that's everything. Tomorrow we go back to a more normal schedule, or maybe not. I might do a weird video. I'm thinking about a weird video tomorrow. Just something from me, just to kind of cap off the entire Astral Agent Magnetar that debuted last night. Which reminds me, the outro for this episode is still going to be using the teaser, because between catching up after the con, being sick after the con, getting everything ready for my VTuber debut, I did not have time to make a brand new updated outro. So I'll update that very, very soon. If you missed the Magnetar thing, the VOD is up on the Twitch channel. You can go watch it right now. And that is going to be it for this adventure to California. So thank you very much for listening to me ramble about my vacation. I do appreciate it. And as always, I will see you next time.